This is the Halo Fleetcom Warthog set produced by Mega in 2023. It comes with 462 pieces and 5 named figures. Not only do you get Cortana, but you get the entirety of Blue Team, Kelly, Linda, Fred and John, as can be seen on the back of the box. Oh, my mistake. This is the set that comes with backup Blue Team. In case anything ever happens to the original Blue Team, we've got Kai, Riz, Vanek and John Halo, otherwise known as Silver Team. In all seriousness, regardless of how you feel about the Paramount Plus Halo TV series, this is a great set. It comes with 5 extremely well executed figures with excellent paint details and all new custom molded armor for this set. It comes with a semi-interesting side build, but most importantly for me, it comes with one of the best Warthogs Mega have ever produced over their 15 years of creating Warthogs for the Halo line, which makes it all the more sad knowing that it looks pretty much guaranteed this will be or was the last Warthog Mega will have produced for Halo. But we'll come back to that shortly. I just want to take a moment to appreciate this Mega build before we move on to the future. There's so many things on this current Warthog that Mega did to improve their existing builds, like the suspension, for example, the clip bars on the Halo Infinite Warthog Rally, where they first introduced this type of multi-link suspension. The arms were prone to popping out if you were too rough with them. They're probably also more prone to breaking and fatiguing, so they've changed that and put these hoops on the end of each arm to make sure they can't pop off. They've also put some additional suspension blocks underneath the chassis, so when you do push down on the Warthog, if it's in the hands of children and it's rough play, they actually bottom out on those, so they've got kind of like a bump stop there. That's just to make the whole build just a bit more robust when it is actually being played with. They also completely redesigned the side paneling of the Warthog, which I'm a big fan of. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And all of the printed detailing, yes, they've always used printed detailing for a very long time now, but the printed detailing on this hog is particularly well executed. They also made an effort to limit custom pieces around the back with the sidebar railings. They're actually brick built rather than specialist pieces. They also brick built the toe spool at the front rather than a custom piece like they've used traditionally for years. And as an additional play feature, they also allowed you to swap out the back end of the Warthog, effectively creating 3 different looks. You can take off the fuel can assembly and you can put on this carry rack assembly, so you can carry around the artifact piece that comes with the set, or you could just put anything else in there. And if you don't like either of those options, you can just leave them both off and it looks great without either of them on there. So for me, this is a really well-rounded, well put together set. The build was fun, it works really well, and on the shelf I think it looks like one of the best Warthogs they've ever produced. But with all that said, I did have one major reservation about this set when it first got announced and I watched the very first review on it, and that was the colour. Not the fact that it's green, but it's a new green. This is the 4th iteration of green Mega have produced for the UNSC line, and on camera I wasn't sold at all. I thought this colour flat green made the vehicle look too plasticky. Originally we had the light camo green back in the Mega Bloks day, then we had the darker forest green as I called it, which was also a camo block, and then they moved to the metallic green for the Infinite line, which I wasn't sold on initially either. They also used this metallic green for some of the Halo Wars 2 sets, and it definitely was a case-by-case base where some vehicles looked okay in it and some vehicles not so good in my opinion. I was always still in favour of the old marble effect bricks. So when I saw this green come out, I wasn't sold on it at all. I thought it looked far too toyish, which I know it's a toy, but still they do go for realism with these toys, and it just looks, sure, maybe a better word would be too plasticky. So I wasn't expecting to like this, and I've only very recently built this set for this video. So it's the first time I've got to see this new colour actually in hand, and I'm happy to report that it looks a lot better in hand than it does on camera. Even now as I make this video, I still think it looks worse on my screen. But in some regards, none of that mattered, because I was of the opinion the only reason they were using this new green was because it was for the Halo TV series sets. They also produced a mongoose in this same green. So I was of the opinion it was just a special colour for the TV show sets, and that's it. We wouldn't be seeing it again. I have, however, changed my opinion on that because of this.
Somebody order a Warthog. Rock and roll, rock and roll.
Watching the Campaign Evolved trailer made me realise how similar the Fleetcom Warthog green was to not just the Warthog in this trailer, but the Pelican. And it got me wondering if that was in fact the plan for Mega to continue using this green for the Halo line, because they would have known about Campaign Evolved far in advance of when we did, and they would have got to see artist impressions, imagery and so on to plan their future builds on. And I'm wondering if the Fleetcom Warthog was just the start of the new green, and the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. And I'm now more convinced than ever that not only was this Fleetcom green the planned future green for Mega, but it will be the green we will see from Mattel Brick Shop. And I'm also 100% adamant that when we do get an announcement from Mattel Brick Shop, and we will, that they are going to produce Halo sets for the future, we will undoubtedly see a Campaign Evolved Warthog. And I think when we do, it might look something like this. And when I say something like this, you need to keep in mind I was only able to use the green parts that come with the Fleetcom Warthog set, because that's the only set in this green apart from the mongoose, but there wasn't going to be a lot of parts in there that were going to help me out. So various stickers like the UNSC badges and emblems and so on, ignore those. You'd obviously get reprinted ones in the right places, like on the wheel arch fenders, the grey bits, there's supposed to be step stickers on there. And also the printed headlight tiles, they would look different for this hog too. But this was more an exercise of creating a Campaign Evolved looking Warthog. It's got a very unique look to it. It obviously has got that old school Halo 1 original Combat Evolved look to it, but they've upgraded it. And I think it looks absolutely amazing in this trailer. I'm really pleased with it. I'm glad they went back to the old style suspension. They didn't stick with the later style multi-link suspension, as you saw came with the Fleet Hog. So accordingly, I've reverted back to that trailing arm suspension setup, and I've used the leaf spring style pieces to actually create the suspension effect. So it does have working and functional suspension. You'll also notice that I've kicked the wheels out an extra block's width. I don't think that would pass Mega's quality control, but it was for two reasons. One, I wanted to get those kind of ball axle pieces that you do see on the actual in-game model. It's how the wheels turn on the end of those suspension arms. Not really sure how that would work in reality, but that's what it does in Halo, so I wanted to put those in. I also got rid of all of the bars around the side of the hog. I've never been the biggest fan of that look with Warthogs. I feel they look much cleaner like this. And I put some of those tiny sloped pieces on around the back and the front wheel arches. As you can see, again, in the in-game model, I was really pleased with how this effect came out. I wasn't able to do the front ones as good as I was able to do the back ones. It was purely through part limitation. I couldn't figure out a way to actually do that. The actual side paneling of the Warthog, those gentle slopes with the studs on, I wouldn't choose slopes with studs on, I'd choose smooth ones, but there weren't any in this set. So obviously an official set, you could put whatever parts in you wanted. I also completely changed the bonnet or the hood area. I put the vent back in that goes up the windscreen because I believe that's there on the in-game asset, and I also dropped the section, the center section of the bonnet as well, because you see that on the in-game asset as well. I put two headlights up on the top of the windscreen, which I think look super cool. I'm really pleased with that, and those are great parts that come in the Fleetcom set that just suit that so well. The gun at the back, obviously the gun shield is wrong. It's supposed to be the angled gun shield rather than the square gun shield, but again, I don't have that, so that would have to do. You'll have to imagine it. And then interior wise, I just added the relatively standard bits and pieces that they tend to put in for their Warthog models. I didn't go overboard. One of the big things I was trying to achieve here was I wanted to try and create a build that I believed could be an official build, rather than go all out with loads of fancy pieces and overly complex builds that realistically just wouldn't be made. I wanted to try and keep it as simple but as detailed at the same time as possible, and I think I got the best balance I could while still accurately representing what you see in that Campaign Evolved trailer, whilst not doing anything fancy with the build techniques either. And for any of you that might be questioning how much I've actually changed within this build, let's do a quick side-by-side comparison with the original Fleetcom Warthog. The original one is missing a couple of pieces because they're on the custom build. So as you can see from the front, the Fleetcom looks so much bulkier. Also, when you turn it to the side, you can see it's got a slightly shorter wheelbase. It's one stud longer, the custom Campaign Evolved hog. You also noticed I didn't reuse the green wheels from the Fleetcom. I just didn't think they looked right. When you see the Campaign Evolved trailer, the wheels look silver, especially when the hog's in motion. They do have a bit of green on the inside, but you don't really see that when the wheels are in motion. I just think the custom build looked better with the silver wheels. Those wheels are actually from the dual mode Warthog, in case you're wondering. They're the fattest Warthog wheels that Mega have created, and I also think they look the best because they've got the deepest dish on them as well. Width and height wise, they're both pretty much the same as each other, but you really do see the difference in the silhouette when viewed from above just by losing all those bars around the side of the hog. I also forgot to show this earlier, but on the back I did attempt to create the jump seat, which they say a marine will be able to jump onto. I'm assuming that might actually slide out in the game, I don't know. So I tried to represent it as bestly as I could from the images on the trailer, and this is what I came up with. So I certainly hope to see some of this green and plenty of UNSC vehicles from Mattel Brick Shop next year. And just to whet your appetite for that, this is what it could look like if they gave us a Covenant Spirit at the same time.
Somebody order a Warthog.
The Covenant are putting up a real fight. The cartographer must be here.
Lock and load, rock and roll!
Give them hell, Chief.